Would you like to know more?
I'm going to talk a little bit about Photon Workshop V, whatever that number is. So this is the software that you use because to splice and get your file in the right format to print, because the Chitu box won't save in the correct file for the Photon to read and print from, for whatever reason. So the process at the moment that I'm using is I take the files in from wherever, for dragon skeletons, for example. I put them into Chitu box, I add support, I save that file because it's easier to do in that than it is in this one. And then from here, I will open some files. So that, for example, these are the ones I've just been doing on. I did four of the banners, and I'll show you what I did. So here's one. So I brought the banner in it, and I added a raft at the bottom, so the base was off the floor. I'm not very good at moving around in this, so it's going to take a little bit of getting used to. So, so a raft at the bottom to get them off the floor, and some support at the back. No, not on this one. So these are just elevated by, I think it's about 5 mil, and there's a support here on this shield. So we'll get rid of that one, and I also I did the 4 skeleton banners. Let's pick another one. That looks very similar. Let's pick another one. What about this one? Yeah, there's a support at the back there. So basically, this is to protect the bases. So I'll print them, I'll smash the base, all these supports off, I'll trim them off. It doesn't matter if I damage this raft when I'm getting them off, because it's all excess material. And then what I also did is, you're supposed to lean them back. This is the common wisdom, apparently. But I didn't want to put them back as far as 30 degrees, so I've just tilted them back 10 degrees. As you can see there, and that added another support here up to the back of the banner, just to maybe take some of the weight when it gets taller. I just did auto support, so I know everybody says auto support's garbage and don't use it, but when you're learning, you have to learn from somewhere. So I'm good, and then so that's what I did. My machine's whirring because it's a laptop, and I'm putting it under stress. We're having all these different programs open. So this is the batch that I'm going to print on Monday. So there are 2 copies of each of the 4 banners. 4 of them are just printed or raised up slightly and on a raft, and 4 of them, 1 copy of each again, is printed with a 10-degree tilt backwards, and that added some support. You can see here, added some extra supports. So there'll be a little bit more cleanup, but to be honest, I don't mind a little bit of cleanup. I'd rather have a bit more cleanup and not failed prints, because even now I can tell that failed prints are a total pain in the arse, and something you want to avoid as far as possible. There's a support gone into the front of the flag here, which when I printed, I think that's the level that the flag stopped printing, just here at the bottom. But yeah, but that doesn't explain why the top of the spear stopped printing as well. So, as for the settings, because people want to know what the settings is, it's a Photon Mono, so I just took the default settings. Now I'm going to look through them. The resin price, it says dollars, it's pounds, whatever. It was dollars or yen, whatever. Layer thickness, normal exposure time is 2 seconds, which is what this mono is all about. The normal exposure time for a regular color screen that blocks off the light is 8 seconds. So for whatever reason, this stuff is good. It can run at 2 seconds. I found that it was actually possibly even overexposing at 2 seconds, because it was putting some lines in the shield. So I don't know what all that was about. So maybe I need to even turn it down. But God, it seems like that not a lot of time. Off time, this is how long the light's off between exposure layers. I'm not sure about that. That's something I know. The bottom exposure time of 40 sounds like a lot. I've heard people say that it should be 5 or 6 times your normal exposure to prevent things like the lights burning out more quickly. Some people put this at a mad level, like 150 seconds per layer and 8 layers. And other people say all you need is 12 seconds per layer and 4 layers. I guess it's down to what you don't want is failed prints. So I think the 40 seconds sounds like a hell of a lot. So I'm going to take that down, and I'm going to take it down to the 6 times multiple. And I'm going to put it at 4 layers. Because this was what it was. This is what the man, Mr. 3D printing man on the YouTube was saying, swearing blind, that is what you need to do. So I'm going to try it. It's going to save my bulb life, because those first layers are where all the bulb and the screen is going to wear out, because you're piling lots of heat and light into a very small time frame with not much cool down. So we'll take that down from 40 to 12. We'll change the bottom layers to 4, and the potential problem will be here that stuff doesn't adhere properly to the print bed. Well, I'm having the exact opposite. If anything, it's adhering too well, and I'm having trouble getting it off. So let's see what happens here. I'll print these 8 off on Monday, and we will see what happens. Okay, so for everybody saying, what's your settings? What are your settings? Here's my settings. The resin is bog standard Anycubic resin. So I don't think... I think it actually specifies those. So basic, that's what it's called. So that's what I'm using. Basic resin. It suggested those settings. I'm going to amend a couple of settings. I'm going to this one, and I'll leave everything else as it is. And I will try and print them on Monday, and I'll feedback what happens.